Thank you for being here tonight. I'm going to be giving a lecture this evening on the benefits of outdoor recreation. My name is Ashley Jackson, and I'm a student in Lenore's EMS Instructor Methodology class. So before we get started, do people here tonight, do you feel like you have any personal experience with outdoor recreation of any kind? Just show of hands. You there in the front row with the hat, what is your personal experience?
I played outside once.
Okay, flannel back here.
I go hiking.
Oh, very nice, very nice. Polka dots in the front, did you have?
I lived in the woods for a month.
Okay, excellent. Alrighty, so really quick before we get started, let's define our terms. So what are we referring to when we're talking about outdoor recreation? So recreation is any activity that is done for enjoyment. So these are things that you're not being forced against your will. It's not a requirement for your job. Like, these are just things that you do because you enjoy them. And we're talking about ones that are specifically taking place outdoors. So our objectives for this evening are, we're going to talk about 3 specific forms of outdoor recreation. They're going to be my personal 3 favorites, so hiking, kayaking, and yoga. We're also going to talk about the different benefits of each. Specifically, we're going to be looking at physical, mental, and even financial values to each of these activities. Does anyone have any questions before we get started? Excellent. Alrighty, so first activity we're going to talk about is hiking. So hiking is great because it is one of the most minimalist forms of recreation. You really don't require any equipment whatsoever except for a sturdy pair of shoes that's going to support your feet. It can also be done almost anywhere. So hiking does not mean that you have to be summiting Mount Everest. There are trails and greenway systems in communities everywhere, and you can do this in your own backyard or travel to a new destination. We might have to pause for 1 second. Alrighty, thank you for sticking around even with the technical difficulty at hand. So we are back discussing our topic of hiking. So another great thing about hiking is that it can be easily modified to meet any degree of difficulty. So one way that hiking can be made easier for people who might be new to this activity are going on hikes of shorter distances or hikes with lesser changes in elevation. And then as you continue to progress and feel more comfortable, you can start to increase the lengths of your hikes, or you can go for more challenging hikes that might require climbing greater hills, greater mountains, things like that. Another great thing about hiking is that it promotes a sense of exploration of an environment. So it can be really empowering whenever we're using our own bodies as a source of transportation. And that's what hiking is. It's you being able to take yourself from one place to another just under your own abilities. Lastly, a great thing about hiking is that there are often no fees associated. So unless you're going to like a national park or a really heavily trafficked area where they have an entry fee, oftentimes there are no fees whatsoever. So again, after your initial purchase of shoes, you are on your way. The next form we're going to be talking about is kayaking. So kayaking is really great because it is a strong workout for your upper body and your core. It's a really great exercise for your shoulders, your biceps, your triceps, things like that. Another thing is that it can be done in any type of water. So what a lot of people don't realize is that you can kayak in a lake, in a creek, in a river, or even in the ocean. So there's a lot of flexibility as far as location, destination, things like that. One really great emotional benefit that people find with kayaking is that there's often just like a really good sense of peace when it comes to being near a body of water, things like that. So it can be really emotionally calming. So another great thing about kayaking is that it's an outdoor activity that some people can enjoy even on rainy days because you're already in water, and so it doesn't really matter as much if you get wet or things like that because you're already going to be probably a little bit wet just from splashing, getting into the water, using your paddle, things like that. A final point about kayaking is that, again, it's really the idea of a one-time purchase for a lifetime of experiences. So once you've purchased your kayak and your paddle initially, It's really going to last you a lifetime. If you take good care of your equipment, it's really just that one-time purchase. Otherwise, there's not going to be a lot of fees associated with it or anything like that. Alrighty, our final topic for this evening is yoga. So this is a form of recreation that is not always thought of as being done in the outdoors. However, the great news is that there's a lot of flexibility with being able to pick up a yoga mat and take it anywhere. So it can be done in any type of environment, again, including your backyard or the side of a mountain, really anywhere that you care to go. Physical benefits of yoga are that it tends to promote overall flexibility, balance, and just general strength. There's a large variety of poses you can do, and each are going to have their own benefits for gaining strength in different ways for different parts of your body. It also encourages self-meditation and reflection. So this is an activity that, again, is typically very calming. People like to use it to calm their minds and just sort of reflect on themselves. So people find this to be a really beneficial and relaxing technique. These calming practices are often also associated with improving one's mental and emotional health for you to be able to connect with yourself and focus on your mental and emotional state. Lastly, again, just the emphasis on minimal gear requirements with the purchase of a yoga mat. Again, if you take good care of it, it will last you for a very long time. So, some sort of general overall benefits that we may have already touched on ever so slightly are all of these involve, for the most part, a one-time investment. So the purchase of a pair of shoes, a kayak and a paddle, or a yoga mat. These are all pieces of equipment that, again, typically last a very long time. So once you've made that initial purchase, we're really looking at activities that are nearly cost-free. So that's really nice. Another thing is that these can be done solo or in a group. So a lot of people turn to outdoor recreations as ways for them to spend their alone time and really just get out in nature by themselves and enjoy that time. But it can also be done in a small or large group and promote a sense of community and just time for bonding. It also allows you to explore your own community where you live or venture to new places. We've talked a lot about the flexibility of being able to do these activities in a variety of places. So that's one really great feature of most forms of outdoor recreation. It's also a lot about regaining appreciation and respect for nature. So a lot of people today live pretty sedentary and indoor lifestyles. So by getting outside and enjoying outdoor recreation, people find that they are getting back in touch with nature and regaining that sense of respect and appreciation. Lastly, all of these are involving some type of physical movement or activity. So by improving our physical health, we are contributing to our overall health and well-being. So, does anyone have any general questions? Yes?
If I'm looking into getting into kayaking, do I have to buy a kayak and a paddle separately, or do they come with a package?
That's a good question. So for me, when I bought my kayak, I found that it was cheaper to buy them separately. That I was able to find separate deals on 2 different brands. However, it might be cheaper in a package deal. I would just look at your local outfitters. Another great point about kayaking is that there are lots of places where you can rent one from, so you don't even necessarily have to buy one if you're going to be visiting a place where they're available for rent. Yeah. Other questions? Yeah.
Where do you recommend hiking at?
So around Chapel Hill here, we have a couple of great places that are really local. So if you just drive up to Hillsboro, there's the Occoneechee State Recreational Area. So that has a lot of really great hikes. I like to go there with my dog. And then also if you venture over to Durham, there's Eno River State Park. And then over closer to Raleigh, there's Umstead. So we have a lot of places really just within a 30-minute drive of where we are. Other questions?
Besides shoes, do you recommend any other equipment or stuff to take with you on a hike?
Depending on the length of your hike, that's a really good question to consider. It's always a good idea to have some water with you anytime you're doing any sort of physical activity. As far as hiking, you also just want to make sure that you're wearing comfortable clothing that's going to be appropriate for the temperature and weather conditions that you're going to be in, and then also if it's going to be an extended hike, any kind of snacks or or food that you might want along the way. Any other questions? Yeah.
Have you ever done any long hikes or overnight hikes?
Yeah.
So, what were they like?
So I've done a couple of backpacking trips. The longest I've ever done was a 4-day, so nothing too crazy, but it's a really great way to combine the loves of hiking and camping. So basically, instead of being able to set up camp out of your car, you just have to pack everything on your back with you. So it takes a little bit more planning as far as having the right equipment and being able to carry everything in a way that's efficient and manageable. But it's a really great experience, and I would recommend just trying out some day hikes first, and if you really like it, then go ahead and start looking into investing in some gear for like a backpacking trip. All right. Any other questions? Thank you so much for being here.